Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into a record label that's got me really curious.
Oh, yeah.
S.P.A.M. Indie Records out of Cologne.
What is it about them that's got you so intrigued?
Well, first off, the name, right?
Yeah.
S.P.A.M. Not exactly what you'd expect for a music label.
It's not the most glamorous name.
But that's kind of the point, I think. Like, are they being ironic or are they actually...
Like sending out musical spam.
Yeah. I mean, their website is a wild mix. You've got, like, death metal next to DiscoPop.
Whoa, that's quite a combo.
Right, and then there's like electro soundtracks for video games and lo-fi punk, all kind of jumbled together.
Sounds like they're not limiting themselves to any one genre.
Nope, not at all. And it's all coming out of Cologne, which we know is a hub for creativity.
Definitely. Lots of interesting music coming out of Germany.
So it really makes you wonder what this S.P.A.M. from Cologne is all about.
Yeah, it's a good question. Is it just noise or is there something more to it?
Exactly, and that's what we're going to try to figure out. So to get started, let's look at a band called Lucidity.
I've heard of them. They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, they kind of embody this whole S.P.A.M. vibe. On the one hand, they've got this intense technical thrash metal sound.
Thrash metal, huh?
Yeah.
It's like fast tempos, heavy riffs, aggressive vocals.
Yep, all that good stuff. But then on the other hand, they've also released these tracks they call translucent.
Translucent. Never heard that one before.
Me neither. But it's like totally different from their thrash stuff. It's very atmospheric, experimental, kind of ethereal.
So like two completely different sounds from the same band.
Exactly. It's pretty wild. Actually, let's listen to a little bit of each just so you can hear the contrast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first up, a taste of Lucidity's thrash metal. And now, for something completely different, their translucent side.
Wow. That was quite a shift.
Right. I mean, how did they even do that? It's like two different bands in one.
It's pretty amazing, actually. It makes you wonder what drives them to explore such different styles.
Yeah, it's like they have this need to constantly experiment, to push the boundaries of what music can be.
And it seems like S.P.A.M. is totally cool with that. Like they're encouraging this kind of genre bending.
Definitely. It's like they're saying, go ahead, try anything, see what happens.
Which is pretty refreshing, you know, in a world where everything seems so categorized and labeled.
Totally. Okay, so we've got Lucidity, showing us the range of S.P.A.M. But there's another artist I want to talk about, Duke.
Oh, yeah, Duke. Now there's a real chameleon of music.
Right. Duke's done it all. Alternative hip-hop, house music, electro, soul, even reggae-influenced breakbeat.
They've collaborated with a ton of artists, too, right?
Yeah, all over the map. It's like Duke's this musical sponge, soaking up influences and spitting out something totally unique.
And again, it makes you wonder, is this something specific to Cologne? Or is this kind of genre fluidity happening everywhere?
That's a good question. Is Cologne just ahead of the curve? Or is this the future of music, where genres just don't matter as much anymore?
It's definitely something to think about. I mean, personally, I'm all for breaking down those goals.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Lucidity, we've got Duke, both pushing the boundaries of genre. Now let's get even weirder with a band called Furso.
Furso, okay. I'm not as familiar with them.
They're something else. They describe their music as KitchenPunk and RBTC.
KitchenPunk, RBTC, what even is that?
I have no idea. But it definitely fits the S.P.A.M. vibe. It's like they're making up their own genres, their own language.
I love that, just totally embracing the weirdness.
Right. And their music itself is kind of hard to describe. It's got this raw, lo-fi sound, like they recorded it in their basement.
You tried your best to be the best, but you are gone, and I was wrong. I tried to explain you something I couldn't explain.
There's a certain charm to that, though. Like, it's honest, unpretentious.
Yeah, exactly. You could almost hear the sweat and energy in the recordings.
Like you're right there in the room with them.
Totally. And I think that's something S.P.A.M. really gets. It's not about being polished and perfect. It's about capturing that raw creative energy.
Absolutely. And that comes through in a lot of their releases. Like, they've got these session tapes, which are just like jams and experiments.
And then there's the mixtape they put out. with snippets from different artists on the label.
It's like they're giving us a glimpse into their creative process, inviting us to be part of the community.
And speaking of community, they even released a song by Mr. Gugo called Hilde sitzt vor dem TV, which was recorded entirely over WhatsApp during lockdown.
Oh, wow. Talk about making the most of a difficult situation.
Right. And it really shows how S.P.A.M. is embracing technology and finding new ways to create and connect.
Yeah, it's like they're saying music can happen anywhere with any tools you have.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so exciting. It's not just about the music, it's about the whole approach, the philosophy behind it.
It's about pushing boundaries, embracing the unexpected, and above all, having fun.
Absolutely.
It really makes you think, like, what even is a record label these days?
Yeah, it's not just about finding talent and putting out records anymore, is it?
Not at all, especially with a label like S.P.A.M. They seem to be more like a collective, a community.
Right, and this whole DIY aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a reaction against the slick, overproduced sound you hear so much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And S.P.A.M. takes it even further, like with that soft cock bootleg.
Oh, yeah, the cover versions. That one raised some eyebrows.
I mean, it's a bootleg, so there's that whole legal gray area.
Right, but it's also interesting because it's like they're reimagining these songs, putting their own spin on them.
Exactly.
Oh, really? Driving that train, high on cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. And you know that notion just crossed my mind.
It's all about interpretation and pushing boundaries, you know?
Yeah, and then there's that Snoop Dogg versus Depeche Mode mashup. Like, how did they even come up with that?
I have no idea. But it works, somehow.
It's so weird, but I kind of love it.
Me too. It's like they're not afraid to experiment, to mix things up, to be playful.
And that's what makes S.P.A.M. so different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the music, it's about the attitude.
The philosophy, yeah. They're challenging what it means to be a label, what it means to be an artist.
Totally. And I think it's really resonating with people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a real hunger for authenticity, for something different, something that breaks the mold.
And S.P.A.M. is definitely delivering that. They're not afraid to be weird, to be raw, to be experimental.
And that's what makes them so exciting. They're like a breath of fresh air in a music scene that can sometimes feel a bit stale.
Totally agree. So I guess the question is, does S.P.A.M. represent the future of music?
Well, it's hard to say, but they're definitely onto something.
Yeah, this whole idea of breaking down genres, of embracing technology, of building a community around music.
It's really inspiring, and it makes you wonder what's next.
Exactly. So for all you music lovers out there, I encourage you to check out S.P.A.M. Indie Records.
You won't be disappointed. It's a wild ride.
It really is. All right, everyone, that's it for this deep dive into S.P.A.M. Indie Records.
Have you enjoyed it?
Until next time, keep those ears open and those minds curious. And maybe that's the whole point, right? That spam isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's all about perspective, I guess.
Like maybe it's just something that challenges our expectations, pushes us out of our comfort zone.
And that can be a good thing, right? Forcing us to confront something new, something different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the amazing music that would be lost if we just dismissed everything that didn't fit into our neat little categories.
Totally. And who knows, maybe what we consider spam today will be the classics of tomorrow.
It's happened before, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of artists who were initially rejected or misunderstood have gone on to become legends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, the whole history of music is basically a story of pushing boundaries and challenging norms.
Right. So maybe instead of being afraid of spam, we should be embracing it. seeking it out.
Looking for those hidden gems, those artists who are doing something truly unique and innovative.
Exactly. Because that's where the real excitement is. On the fringes, where the rules are being broken and new sounds are being created.
And that's what S.P.A.M. Indie Records is all about. It's a celebration of that spirit of experimentation and discovery.
So to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to get a little spammy with your music choices.
Dive into the unknown, explore those weird and wonderful corners of the music world.
You never know what you might find. And hey, maybe you'll even discover your new favorite band.
That's the best part, right? Finding something that speaks to you, that moves you, that expands your musical horizons.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, that's a wrap for our deep dive into S.P.A.M. Indie Records.
Hope you enjoyed the journey.
Keep exploring, keep listening, and keep that musical curiosity alive. Until next time.